it's amazing what's happening in the WNBA right now. So the Indiana Fever just released their schedule for the preseason. Only 2 games before the 44-game campaign. And they are ironically against 2 teams whose ownership has taken shots at Caitlin Clark and by extension, the Indiana Fever. The Washington Mystics, the Fever are going to get them at home. So, no, I'm sorry, Sheila Johnson. You will not get an extra gate from Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. You're going to have to come to the most dangerous place in the WNBA, Gainsbridge Fieldhouse, to get the whooping. But also on May 10th, the Fever will be taking on the Atlanta Dream in Atlanta, and I would presume they're going to move that one over to State Farm as well. So I'm going to get 2 chances to see Caitlin Clark in Atlanta kind of within, a week or 2, which is pretty cool. But, Renee Montgomery was very vocal in the things she was saying. And, I wonder if this is a case of the league capitalizing on these matchups. I wonder if this is a league capitalizing on the controversy, I might add. I'm still kind of sitting here in the afterglow of these Sheila Johnson comments thinking, why would anyone in a position of power say these kind of things about an athlete who has raised the profile of your sport so much, been so unproblematic, and been, a force of nature at the box office as well as on the court. Originally, the Fever only had, I believe, 1 game in Atlanta while getting to play the Dream 3 times. The second game here in the preseason will make up for their visit, to Atlanta, at least the second one. That was like one of the bigger games attendance-wise of the year. Do I expect these games to be statements? I don't, because they're preseason, but I don't think you can underestimate or discount what Caitlin Clark may or may not be pissed off by at this point, because all she does is get shots thrown at her from, teams, players, executives, other fan bases at this point. And it's almost time to come out swinging and be like, F the world, essentially. I really want this to kind of be an FU campaign from Caitlin Clark on the way to winning the league MVP. Player-wise, there aren't really, rivalries on the Dream or the Mystics to really get excited about. So I think it's the ownership here. Maybe the league realized they wanted to, get to some of those games, not water it down anymore by not putting the Lynx on there, not putting the Liberty on there. I would have probably did, the expansion team or something for the Fever, keep them nice and well rested before their season, which, they do have a favorable schedule, I would say, this year. A lot, more rest built in, a lot less of a murderer's row of teams to play against. There's a great home stretch in the middle of the season, which kind of will be familiar in a way that the end of the year was last season, where there was just 6 straight home games all against tough teams. These ones are more marquee matchups rather than tough teams, because I believe the Wings are in there. I think the Aces are in there as well as the Lynx, but there's one other team that I don't think is really too difficult. There's the Commissioner's Cup portion of the schedule, which looks very favorable for the Fever. I'm predicting them to go at least 4-1 in that. And, we'll go through the games eventually. I'll see if I can get, the schedule here up on the screen, and I'm going to try to pick the entire season and see how close I come to that. But yeah, Renee Montgomery, I part of the Atlanta ownership at least will benefit a little bit from that, with the Fever showing up to the building. And Sheila Johnson's just going to have to wait. I want Caitlin to drop 50 on them. I can't lie. I think that was probably one of the most infuriating kind of interviews I think I've ever seen, especially in the light of, Caitlin Clark's comments in Time Magazine. I think that is, I know I saw a couple people in my comments calling for Sheila Johnson to be thrown out the league like she's Donald Sterling. No, this is not the same thing. Let's use our heads, people. These are just embarrassing comments. Like, this is along the lines of like Dan Gilbert saying something stupid about a star player. Like, that's kind of what this is. Not someone completely like going over the line and embarrassing themselves, like as far as like like a Donald Sterling, he's saying the stuff he was saying about Magic Johnson and black players in general. Like, that didn't happen here. I think we have to keep that in perspective. But yeah, the Washington Mystics, y'all gonna get it this year, and it's because of the owner. So anyway, what do you think about these two games being announced as the preseason games for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever? Are there any angles in them that you are looking forward to? Let me know in the comments. I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace. One lifetime.